business before we start our discussion. With any luck, Sarah will be able to dial in and participate. I have a couple of information reports. The 3 and 4-year-old voucher program is moving well this year. We have $200,000 between the two age groups, and we have 13 3-year-olds and 17 4-year-olds.
Wow.
Signed up. So that's a really healthy number of families that are participating this year. And one of them, one of the 3-year-olds is actually one of our new families. They just got moved into a Habitat house in South Wellfleet. So
that's great.
Yeah, it is good. It's really good. And I, of course, didn't remember to send them to you, but I've gotten 2 or 3 thank you emails from the moms and the families thanking the town of Wellfleet for the voucher program. So I will forward those to you guys just for your information. And I don't know where we stand with this year's Navigator contract, because the one they wrote last year is now gone by, and Outer Cape Health hasn't gotten a renewed contract to us. I think I had to touch base with Leo about that, but I suspect that they, like all of us, are pandemic impaired at this point. So the way it works is we just go forward with the existing contract until a new one is executed. So I think we'll be all set with that. And okay. I think that's about it. This is the first time we will be videoed, and it will be available on the website if anybody has any questions about our meetings. I know the whole once a year thing still confounds a number of people. I got a few phone calls today because people had confused this committee with the activities of the sort of working group on food availability during the pandemic that came up, the Wellfleet Needs Committee. So if anybody asks you, please make sure that you explain the difference to them. Nancy, I do have a question for you. How is the Fleet Fund doing?
We're moving along to where, no, I would say within the next month, we'll be able to publicize and get it going.
Oh, that's good, because the cold weather is when usually most of the need shows up.
Yeah. Yes, yep. We're well on our way, so it's
perfect. Great. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you.
Good job. All right. I'll just tell you, Sarah, that I just reported to the rest of the committee that there are 13 3-year-olds and 17 4-year-olds in this year's voucher program, and that we're currently looking for a new contract from the Navigator, because it's a 3-town contract. It's Wellfleet, Truro, and Provincetown. No, I'm sorry, Eastham, Wellfleet, and Truro. So it moves more slowly than other contracts. Did you all get the paperwork that I emailed to you and have a chance to print it out, I hope?
Suzanne?
Yes, Frank?
I didn't get a budget, and I got a duplicate copy of the AIDS support group. Can you tell me what the total budget is?
Our total budget is $80,000, the way it was the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay, so it's still $80,000. Okay, that answers the question. Thank you.
Right. And our total requests this year come to $89,250, with that. 2 schools not specifying their amounts. Not 2 schools, 2 organizations, the Montessori Preschool and the Alzheimer's Family Support Center. They just said that they did not specify amount in their RFP response. So as we have in previous years, there are no new agencies, and there's only one agency that didn't reapply this year, and that's Sustainable Cape. And they had a really hard time last year filing the quarterly reports and doing what they were supposed to do, and signing their contracts and sending them back to us and getting us the insurance information. So I'm suspecting for the small amount of the grant, that may be one reason why they didn't reapply this year.
Suzanne, when did you send that information? Was it a while back or?
Send it to you guys
Yeah,
a couple weeks ago.
I'm looking for it.
Yeah, I can't find it either. I didn't
Don't have it either.
see it either.
I don't either.
Let me just double check when I sent that, because I
Actually,
sent it and I
I'm
said,
seeing it right now. I didn't see it before, but it's connected to the email that was sent out on the 6th of October as an
right.
attachment.
Well, a couple weeks ago, I asked if you could meet, and then I sent that out. It was last week, I agree. But I assumed that people would be able to print it out and take a look at it in time for our meeting.
Mm.
Print mine out right now.
Okay. Some of the agencies are so used to this that they've started sending me their first quarter bills, even though they haven't been awarded a grant yet this year.
I don't have it.
Maddie,
I don't either, and I've got the October 6th
So do I.
email,
So do I.
but I don't have anything attached to mine.
but I think it was the 8th though, Nancy.
And I'm just doing my search, but
Go back.
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Well, that's all right.
You want me to forward it to you right now, Nancy?
Sure, that would be great.
Okay.
If I don't have it, I might need you to forward it to me too. I see 284. No, I don't have it either. Can you forward it to me as well?
Yep.
Thank you.
Let's see.
madintel@comcast.net.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thanks, Sarah.
Mhm. See if that comes like that.
My emails usually come very quickly.
Maddie, for your email, I have madintel@comcast.net. Is that correct?
Yes.
And Sarah, for yours, I have SaraEBlandford@gmail.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
That was my oversight because I see it in there and I,
Yeah, it was the 6th.
yep.
Yeah, I found that email, but I don't
found it.
know.
You found the one that says now that town meeting is come and gone?
And it would, as I'm searching it, it would have come from you, correct?
It came from me,
Yeah,
and it was a group email to the 4 of you
yeah.
I have
on the
the
6th.
email.
Isn't that weird?
I have that email, but it doesn't have thing.
Doesn't have the, well, I sent the attachment out. I don't know what happened to it before it went into your inboxes.
Yeah.
No, I've got this is the Zoom information.
Right. That's
No,
from
it's
the
before
6th,
that. You want the,
But I don't
the
have, I
one
don't
that's,
have any other.
Mine was
Has
scheduled.
my email come through yet, Nancy?
Mm, no.
I'm going to send this again to all of you from the 6th, and we'll see what happens. And that'll give Frank the budget on the first. Oh, he didn't get it. He got a hard copy. That was
I just got
internal error.
it again. It came through for me.
Not yours, Suzanne. Now we need to allocate funds.
I don't know why I'm not getting any.
I'm getting it, but it says all meetings will be on Zoom. Please let me know. But even the one you just sent me doesn't have an attachment.
Well, I just sent you, the one that I just sent you from November 6th, October 6th does not have an attachment because it went out with an attachment.
Yeah, and that's the one I have that has no
It
attachment.
says now that
What?
town meeting is come and go, we need to allocate funding.
Right, that's the one that had the attachment on it. I don't know if your firewall
doesn't.
cleared the attachment or if there's too
No,
many people in the email.
mine definitely doesn't have an attachment. And it was October 6th, 10:34 a.m. You just, yeah, I
Right.
just got it. Right.
Right.
No, I have the email, but I don't have the attachment.
And
Well,
you have nothing from me yet?
No.
Let me go back.
this is not good.
Yeah, Sarah, I have yours. Let me see what
Okay.
yours says.
I don't have anybody.
Yours has the attachment.
I'm going to go to another room and see if I get my email.
Yeah, Sarah's does. So let me print.
All right.
Sarah's out.
Yay.
Oh, Sarah's got to you, Maddie, with the file.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Good.
I may have to resort to sending it individually to people, like one person with the attachment instead of a group email with the attachment.
It should be printed now.
Eric, is there a spot that our Verizon comes in better than another in this house? All right, I have Sarah's finally. I went to another space. So I see it now.
Okay. And there's the attachment with it?
Yep,
Good.
thank you.
How many pages is it?
It's 27, Maddie.
It's 27, but the first one is the,
The budget, yes.
yeah.
Okay, text.
I think,
Frank, Corbin,
Yes.
I just texted you the budget on your cell phone, so you can
Well,
take
you
a look at it. I
You
did,
told
I
me
did.
it was 80,000, right?
Right, but what I just texted you is the request per agency compared to last year's
I
request.
have it in front, I have that.
Oh, you have that, okay.
I have it printed, yes.
You don't need to print it. As long as you can see it, you're all set.
I don't have a client scheduled for 5:30 at the moment, so I can stay with you as long as I need to stay with you, as long as nobody gets plunked in.
Well, if somebody gets plunked in, we certainly understand, but I hope you get to stay with us.
Me too.
I would like to make this as efficient and complete as possible. So I apologize for the glitch in the communication. I just assume that when I send something, people get it, which is sort of
Sure.
maybe a bad assumption sometimes.
Last year, we were in the same situation where we had more requests than we did funds.
Right.
And we adjusted. So we're in that situation again. Okay.
Yeah, and we could, because these service records have basically remained level in terms of number of clients served, with the exception of homeless prevention and Lower Cape outreach, both of whose numbers increased this year, we could consider level funding.
Hi, hello?
Yeah, hi, Frank.
So I have AIDS support group is asking for twice what they asked for last year.
Correct.
Consumer assistance, 500 more. Elder
Consumer
service,
assistance wants 50 more.
okay, 50 more. Elder services wants 500 more.
Right.
Helping Our Women wants 1,000 more. Homeless prevention wants 2,000 more. Independence House is asking for 1,700 more. Lower Cape Outreach is level funded, along with Gosnold and Cape Cod Children's Place. Everyone else is asking for more than last year. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So if we level fund everybody, what happens to Alzheimer's and Sustainable Cape is out of the picture?
Right. Well, what happens if we level fund is that we have a $500 that we would need to allocate to somebody.
Alzheimer's.
Or is level funding including the 1,500 for Alzheimer's from last year?
The level funded includes funding, last year's funding across the board with the exception of Sustainable Cape. And that would be $79,500, which would mean that we would have $500 to allocate to one or more agencies as we see fit. I will report that CBabies, Cape Cod Children's Place withdrew CBabies from the senior center. They're no longer in our building. And I don't know why. They said, I think they're, it wasn't because we asked them to leave. It wasn't because anybody was unhappy with it. I think it was a financial decision on their part. And I'm not quite sure where that financial decision comes from because the town didn't charge them anything for being there. I think it's a staffing issue.
I'm not sure. I had heard, and not necessarily reliably, that due to the regulations with the pandemic that they wouldn't be able to accept as many children, and maybe that's where the financial piece
Right, because
comes
it's a
in.
small space.
Right.
And I think because there were infants and toddlers, the number of people required for infants and toddlers was more than their current staffing.
Right. So
Because,
that makes sense to me if that's.
Yeah. One of the teacher's aides at Montessori last couple of years, has gone to work for Children's Place because she was laid off because of the reduced number of kids at Montessori. And the first 2 weeks she was there, she was with infants. And if you're with an infant, you stay with that baby all day. Nobody else touches him. You don't touch anybody else.
Mhm.
So it's quite a staffing challenge.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So do I hear any questions or suggestions? Frank said he's comfortable with level funding. Anybody else uncomfortable with it?
Well, I have a question, given that CBabies is no longer in Wellfleet, which served, I mean, how many children now, Wellfleet children, do you think are being served by the Children's Place? And if we have the voucher program?
Well, I believe that this year there are eight Wellfleet kids in Montessori on the voucher and 4, maybe 5. They've been moving around as they'll be on a waiting list and they end up moving if a spot comes up. I think there's 5 3 and 4-year-olds on the voucher program. But this grant here is for birth through kindergarten age, birth through 5. This particular RFP. So it would be mostly centered on infants and toddlers at this point, because the voucher program would carry through the older children. Are you recommending that we reduce it a little bit?
I don't know. I
allocate
hate
that money
to
elsewhere?
reduce anybody. They also do great parenting classes and all sorts of, other great services for families. So I was just curious.
I would rather, I'm sorry, my thought is to wait and see how this year's reports settle down compared to previous service records for the agencies and how the pandemic impacts them. And then a year from this budget, FY22, we'd be in better position to make some educated decisions about allocation.
I agree.
Because I don't want to start cutting people during a pandemic if
No,
I can
absolutely. No,
avoid.
they all need more.
Yeah, and we can't give them more, but we can give
No.
them the same, which means they won't lose out on us.
Right.
Any votes for the 500? Anybody got a recommended
Yeah, I do. I
agency?
do. I have,
Who's that, Frank?
I think because of the pandemic, I'd like to see at least half of that go to the Homeless Prevention Council. And maybe the other half to Gosnold, but those are my two that I think are most important, or Outer Cape Health Services. I mean, they're all struggling with this pandemic, but
Yeah. Maddie, do you have any thoughts about our whole $500 extra?
I think I think the food issue is so large that anything that helps provide food, I definitely think homeless prevention, I agree with Frank on
Okay.
that.
Maybe Lower Cape Outreach for the
Yeah.
other. I mean, they deal with, both of those agencies are dealing with food and housing.
And they're,
yeah, I agree.
They run the food pantries.
right, and they are, I mean, I don't know how much experience we have with the Wellfleet Food Pantry, but since the pandemic has started and they're doing twice a month distributions, and we at the senior center send our driver and he picks up 7 or 8 individual orders for people and distributes them. They call their people, they've over 100 regulars. They call them to find out from what's available, what they'd like in their box, so that no food goes to waste and everybody gets food that they will be able to eat, prepare comfortably, and be happy to see. So I am totally impressed with that particular operation.
Okay, so
So
why
have we
don't,
decided on homeless prevention and Lower Cape for our $250 each additional?
Fine with me.
Sarah, how do you feel about that?
I feel fine about that. The one other place that pulls me a little bit is Independence House. Just with so much more people not working and being isolated with their families.
Yeah, the stress.
There's a lot more domestic violence happening. And so that's my one other thought, but I think it's fine. I'm in agreement with the other two.
Well, I'm looking now and seeing Lower Cape Outreach did not ask for more than last year.
Correct.
Homeless Prevention Council did, Independence House did. So if we wanted to think about Independence House for $250 instead of Lower Cape Outreach, that's a possibility where they hadn't requested more money.
I think that's a good point, actually.
So that is a good, so homeless prevention and Independence House would each get the $250. Is that what I'm hearing? Your recommendation, Nancy?
Yes.
Okay.
Our women ask for.
And Maddie, how do you feel about that?
No, I feel fine about that. I mean, I'm looking at who else asked for more. Helping Our Women did, but I mean, they're all so needy.
I know.
Well, helping our women, one of the reasons I think they ask for more is they have a new director for the last 18 months or so, and Gwen's really a mover and a shaker, and they've been providing even more services than they normally do.
Yeah.
So, and that's to her credit, but we can't.
No, I feel fine about Independence House. I mean, the abuse issue has become huge.
Well, and now that the winter is shutting in, and it's just going to be more. I do know that many of the services that Independence House provides to the town are telephone counseling. So even if this little bit helps to have more telephone counseling hours, I think it'll be a good thing.
Fine with me.
All right, so I would accept a motion that we accept that we level fund the fiscal 20 budget with the exception of no funding for Sustainable Cape because they did not apply, and an additional $250 for Homeless Prevention Council, and an extra $250 for Independence House.
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it's unanimous. Okay. This is probably the world's shortest meeting that we've ever had. It's only my third one today, you know. I'm glad I can focus on what we're actually talking about. Now, anybody else have anything to ask or any information to offer up? We will be doing this in the spring next year, not the fall, because even if there's still restrictions, we're getting better at this stuff. So this will happen soon enough.
Can you just repeat what you said about Alzheimer's family? What is to be decided?
They will get $1,500 the way they did in fiscal 20. All right. Hearing nothing, I would entertain a move to adjourn. Frank, you want
Move
to make
to
a motion?
adjourn.
Second, Batty, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you very much. And thank you so much for this sort of convoluted approach to scheduling.
Nice to
meetings.
see everybody.
Nice
Yeah, it's nice to
Yeah,
see you all
only
without